Visibility of global variables in imported modules. I've run into a bit of a wall importing modules in a Python script. I'll do my best to describe the error, why I run into it, and why I'm tying this particular approach to solve my problem, which I will describe in a second. Let's suppose I have a module in which I've defined some utility functions/classes, which refer to entities defined in the namespace into which this auxiliary module will be imported. Let A be such an entity. Module 1. And then I have the main program, where A is defined, into which I want to import those utilities. Executing the program will trigger the following error. Similar questions have been asked in the past, 2 days ago, and several solutions have been suggested. However, I don't really think these fit my requirements. Here's my particular context. I'm trying to make a Python program which connects to a MySQL database server and displays /modifies data with a GUI. For cleanliness' sake, I've defined a bunch of auxiliary /utility MySQL related functions in a separate file. However, they all have a common variable, which I had originally defined inside the utilities module, and which is the cursor object from mysqlpython module. I later realized that the cursor object, which is used to communicate with the DB server, should be defined in the main module, so that both the main module and anything that is imported into it can access that object. End result would be something like this. utilities_module.py and my main module, program.py. And then, as soon as I try to call any of the utilities functions, it triggers the aforementioned global name not defined error. A particular suggestion was to have a from program import cur statement in the utilities file, such as this. utilities_module.py program.py. But that's cyclic import or something like that, and, bottom line, it crashes too. So my question is, how in hell can I make the cur object, defined in the main module, visible to those auxiliary functions which are imported into it? Thanks for your time, and my deepest apologies if the solution has been posted elsewhere. I just can't find the answer myself, and I've got no more tricks in my book.
Globals in Python are global to a module, not across all modules. Many people are confused by this, because in, say, C, a global is the same across all implementation files unless you explicitly make it static. There are different ways to solve this, depending on your actual use case. Before even going down this path, ask yourself whether this really needs to be global. Maybe you really want a class, with f as an instance method, rather than just a free function. Then you could do something like this. If you really do want a global, but it's just there to be used by module 1, set it in that module. On the other hand, if A is shared by a whole lot of modules, put it somewhere else, and have everyone import it. And, in module1.py. Don't use A from import unless the variable is intended to be a constant. From shared_stuff import would create a new variable initialized to whatever shared_stuff data referred to at the time of the import, and this new variable would not be affected by assignments to shared_stuff.a. Or, in the rare case that you really do need it to be truly global everywhere, like a built-in, add it to the built-in module. The exact details differ between Python 2.x and 3.x. In 3.x, it works like this.
As a workaround, you could consider setting environment variables in the outer layer, like this. main.py, mymodule.py. As an extra precaution, handle the case when myval is not defined inside the module.
This post is just an observation for Python behavior I encountered. Maybe the advices you read above don't work for you if you made the same thing I did below. Namely, I have a module which contains global/shared variables, as suggested above. Then I had the main module which imports the shared stuff with. And some other modules that actually populated these arrays. These are called by the main module. When exiting these other modules I can clearly see that the arrays are populated. But when reading them back in the main module, they were empty. This was rather strange for me. Well, I am new to Python. However, when I change the way I import the sharedstuff.py in the main module too, it worked. The arrays were populated. Just saying.
A function uses the globals of the module it's defined in. Instead of setting a equals 3, for example, you should be setting module1.a equals 3. So, if you want cur available as a global in utilities_module, set utilities_module.cur. A better solution, don't use globals. Pass the variables you need into the functions that need it, or create a class to bundle all the data together, and pass it when initializing the instance.